Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7. On hot7025fm.com.
Hi. Hey.
What's up?
All your favorite artists.
Check it out.
Say my name.
DJ Khaled.
This is Mila J.
Bruno Mars.
On hot7025fm.com.
E-Class Consulting. It's owned and operated by Carice, providing tools, training, and resources that are sure to make you and your business even more successful. We are staffed with a marketing, credit, tax, and a real estate consultant. E-Class Consulting also provides a temporary admin service called E-Class Admins. Want to book an appointment with E-Class Consulting? Call 702-518-3002 or email book@eclassconsulting.com. E-Class Consulting, navigating you to greatness.
Y'all, it's your girl Cheryl Underwood, and you're tuned into the hottest news station on the planet, Hot 702.5.
What's going on, everybody? It's your main man, 360, the poet from the Morning Wood, and I'm here to talk to you about the Sci-Fi Center. It's your Vegas home for science fiction, horror, and fantasy. From comic books, toys, and posters to movie screenings and live events, they've got you covered. Located at 900 Caron Avenue, Suite B209, give them a call, 702-900-4335, or reach them at thescificenter.com. It's your main man, 360, the poet from the Morning Wood. And are you looking for the perfect drink? Well, you found it. Mimosa Royale is the perfect combination of California sparkling white wine and natural juice that is both tasty and refreshing. No artificial colors or flavors, no sugar added, and it's gluten-free. As the world's first ready-to-drink mimosa, Mimosa Royale is perfect for any occasion, day or night. You no longer have to drink 12 of those seltzers just to get that perfect buzz. At 8% alcohol, Mimosa Royale is the perfect drink to party with. Offered in a variety of flavors and sizes, you are bound to find a Mimosa Royale that you'll love. We have berry, mango, apple, and orange, with more flavors to come. Mimosa Royale is the most award-winning flavored wine that serves in bottles or cans. You can find them online at drinkmimosa.com or find them at your local liquor store. Ask for it by name. Mimosa Royale.
Yo, it's Tavon Greatness Patterson. Want to listen to Hot 702.5 on the go? Download the Hot 702.5 app on the Apple Store or Google Play Store if you got an Android like me.
Let's get it.
out here on this letter, and we're gonna break it down and go a little something like this. So it goes. Dear Holla at the Homie, I never thought I'd be the one writing in, but I'm tangled in a situation that's quickly unraveling. Now, my best friend, we'll call him Jay, comes from an extremely religious family, but he's also gay, something he hasn't shared with them out of fear of rejection, now, or out of heartbreak. When the family reunion came up last year, he begged me to pretend to be his girlfriend so he wouldn't face uncomfortable questions or worse, or feel like he has outright condemnation. So I agreed without hesitation. I love him like a brother, and I just wanted to help him feel safe. Now, everything went smoothly. His family adored me. They believed every story we told, and Jay felt a rare sense of peace around them. I figured that would be the end of it. But last weekend, a couple of his cousins spotted me out on a date with my real partner. Word spread fast, and now some of his relatives are furious, saying that I betrayed Jay and embarrassed their family. And they're determined for me, and they're demanding that I apologize publicly and come clean to Jay, as if he's the one who's been deceived. Ironically, Jay and I are both in on the loop, so it's them who don't know the truth. Now, I'm torn, and I don't want to expose Jay before he's ready, but I also don't want to deepen their anger or make things worse for him. How do I handle their outrage without outing my best friend or looking like a liar? Signed, Accidental Villain. Ooh, accidental villain. What did you do to yourself? How did you get yourself caught up in this thing out here, accidental villain? That's what I want to know. The people want to know, how did you do it? It's because what you did was you jumped out there and you helped a friend. And there's nothing wrong with helping a friend, because that's what we do sometimes. We help friends out, right? But this time, the situation has come to the point where now you stuck in the middle with you, and you don't know what to do with it. You don't know how to do with it. You've been outed per se, because you're out there with your real partner, and out there with your real family, and that's how it happened. So sometimes you get caught out. That's why I be telling people all the time, you can't be out here living double life and trying to be having side pieces, especially if you're in the same town. You're in the same town, you can't be doing this double life type of stuff, because what's going to end up happening is you're going to get caught up. Caught up, got me feeling it, caught up. You know how it is. I bust into a song at any given time. But that's what's happened to y'all right now. You've gotten caught up in this situation, and now you don't know what to do with it. You don't know how to handle it. So what do? My advice to you is going to go a little something as follows, right? So this is not just about deception, as some would say, or this isn't just about like lies and, misdirection. This is something about friendship. It's about family. It's about identity. And also about that fine line that's between protecting someone you love and getting caught in the crossfire. So let me rewind that to y'all one more time and say y'all exactly what I said. I said it's about friendship, it's about family, it's about identity, and it's also about that fine line that you try not to cross when you're trying to protect someone you love and you're trying to prevent getting caught in the crossfire. So now where do you go from there? Where do we go from here? Right now. Yeah, I got all the songs out here today, boy. All the songs is popping up. All the songs is popping up for your boy in my brain today. So we're going to keep it on pushing on these things. So this is what we say. So first of all, Accidental Villain, you stepped in as a best friend. You stepped in, and that takes loyalty. That takes courage. And it also takes compassion to step in this capacity to where you like, I'm going to be your beard. That's what you've decided to do. You've decided to be this person's beard. What's up, the real B Neil? You decided to be your best friend. Like you say, you put it in quotations. You said, we'll call him Jay. You decided to be Jay's best friend. Now, being Jay's best friend, what does that mean for you? You ride with Jay. I ride with her. I slide with her. And in that case, what's happened is now he's got you in this whole situation like, hey, man, my family don't know that I'm gay. So I need you, we get along well, we best friends, so we can pull this thing off. So whatever the conversation was between y'all, you decided to be loyal, you decided to be courageous, and you decided to show compassion for your friend Jay, pretending to be their partner to kind of help them navigate through such a difficult family dynamic. And that's all it really is. It's just a difficult family dynamic. It's something that's come about, and people aren't understanding of what Jay's progress may be. They're not understanding what his path and his journey may be. Because again, religion always plays a part whenever people, I don't care if you're scared to tell them, if you just think they won't understand you. Religion is usually always, what's up, Patrice D? Religion is always something that is at the base of why you're having issues, relieving yourself of this weight that you have on your shoulders, if that makes sense. So don't let, spirituality, religion stop you from living in your truth. I would say that to anybody. And I would say that you encourage your friend Jay to not stop himself from living in his truth. But again, it does take time to get ready when you deal with a family, when that dynamic has been on your shoulder for so long. They've told you, or they've ostracized people who have, been, anywhere close to what it is that he's trying to describe himself, or he's trying to reveal himself, not describe himself, as reveal himself as to them. So that's not always an easy bridge to cross, right? That can, in and of itself, can create issues mentally, could create issues physically, because people can become actually sick behind the angst and nerves associated with being able to be their true selves. And I applaud anybody who, if for lack of better phraseology, steps out of that closet of quietness and steps into the world of where the things sound right for you. So tell your friend Jay, first and foremost, like, you got his back, because that's not a small thing. It's an act of love what you did for him, and it sounds like you pulled it off without a hitch in the beginning until real life started getting real, like it always does. Life has a way of getting real without you knowing it's about to get real. And when it does, it hits you and it shows up uninvited. And when it slaps you across your face, that's when you got to sit there and say, like, damn, what have I done stuck my head? You got to ask yourself, well, how did you get here when life slaps you across the face? Because that's one you can't block. I don't care how quick you are with your hands. When life ready to slap you across the face, you can't block that. You can't stop it. There's no getting around it, right? So how is it that you rock and roll now? What is it that you got to do now? Like, here's the thing. I feel like the anger coming at you right now is not something that you should take on as saying like, oh man, I messed up. Let's start with that. Like, the anger that's coming out at you right now is really not about you. It's sort of about the cracks forming in the story that, with Jay's family. So now they're feeling deceived, and truth be told, they probably know. They probably already know. Let's start with that. If Jay is trying to, hold this secret back from his family right now, then they probably already know. But they just happy that he's at least pretending for them. And the pomp and circumstance, now they feel embarrassed because one of them probably was like, hey, ain't that Jay girl over there? And if somebody was like, you mean Jay ain't got no girl, blah, 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 go back and forth. They probably went through this whole conversation. And now they feeling embarrassed because they see you out with your real partner. Probably PDAing in some way, shape, form, or fashion, or at least googly-eyed enough to where they'll know that that's not you're not out on a hangout with a friend, that you out there with your person. So don't feel bad that, don't make it about you and your person. Don't think of it as something that is really coming at you. It's really the fact that they feel like their perfect couple is no longer the same in their eyes. Right? So how do you go about finding a way to mend that without, because what's happening is they accepted this perfect couple and now it's slipping away from them because what happened to be in their face is the reality they've probably been dancing around the entire time. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You know, I'm here. I'm be angel's advocate, devil's advocate. However you want to look at me, I'm be on both shoulders. I'm not gonna tell you anything that's not the truth that I feel inside my heart, right? Like they probably already know why going on with your boy Jay. But again, they were just probably excited about the fact that he's pretending for them, for their sake, whether it be because maybe they deacons in the church, maybe they the pastor, whatever the case. He come from a religious family. So the entire family is cut that way. So it was probably a relief to them so they don't have to worry about the whispers going on about Jay behind their back. But now with you being out there in them streets with your person, then now they be like, well, if we saw her, then anybody could have seen her out here, you know, and then they'd be looking at Jay like he's sideways, and they're gonna be like, well, he lied to us. And a lot of people don't like to be a part of the lie, even though they be knowing they ended anyway. You know, if somebody agrees, if his family knows that he's gay, right, and they just okay with riding along with it so they can have a story to tell for themselves, then now they are complicit in that lie. And nobody wants to be complicit in a lie. What's going on? Sorry, Miss Edie, you missed you. Nobody wants to be nobody wants to be complicit in a lie at any time. We all want to have the opportunity to be as truthful and forward as we can, especially when we're talking about our livelihoods or we're talking about our love lives. Nobody wants that make-believe Manti Te'o girlfriend. You know, if anybody remember Manti Te'o, he got busted for having a fake girlfriend. He was a big-time linebacker for Notre Dame, and everybody's talking about like, oh, Manti got a girl, and the next thing you know, he tried to say he got catfish. No, he planned that whole thing. He personified that lie, and then now what happened was the Roosters came home. Or whatever to say. They say the chickens came home to roost, whatever they call it. You know, I ain't that old. I don't know all the proverbs. But right now, what Jay's family's probably feeling is, again, embarrassed and deceived. And think about that. If you want to be empathetic, put yourself in their shoes. Like, would you want to feel that way? So don't take this as it's they're coming at you. Yes, you're just the subject matter right now because you're in their face with someone else. So that's why they're able to fire rapidly in your direction, right? But don't think it's all about you. What's going on, Antonio D. Taylor? Don't think it's all about you. You know, it's just the possibility that they're just not understanding of the possibility that Jay's life may be moving in a different way than what they might have imagined. You know, they're aiming their frustration at the easiest target possible, and that is you, Miss, what you call yourself, accidental villain. They're aiming their frustration at the easiest target, and that is you. So think of it like this: like you're. We'll get to the point about you not being a villain, but think about it as you're standing up and being, you know, the receiver of all of this heat again for your friend. Again, you're being there for Jay because you don't want to mess around and go off the handle. Like, look, I'm just telling y'all right now, you know, anybody could be, you know, typical and say, look, I don't care what y'all say, your cousin's gay and, you know, we just faked y'all out. But you love your friend Jay. It's like your best friend is what you said, right? You say you love him like a brother, you know, because what you don't owe them is any confession. You don't owe them a confession of any sort, or you don't owe them anything that's going to out Jay. You know, that choice belongs strictly to him. You know, because outing someone before they're ready can cause a lot more problems than what they have already by trying to not be outed. Outing someone before they're ready can have devastating emotional effects. It can have physical effects. You know, it can have the consequences of something that nobody could have imagined if you out someone before they're ready. So protecting your friend's autonomy, it isn't lying. So remember that you're not lying to them. What you're doing is you're protecting your friend's autonomy, and it's respecting his right to own his own story on his own terms. That's what we all want to do, right? We want to tell our own story on our own terms. And if we can't do that, then what do we resort to? If we can't do that, how do we figure it out? How do we get on board and be able to try to take control of our lives if we're not in control and have a grip on our own story? So allow Jay that, because you started off, you said that this family reunion was a year ago. So y'all been living this life for a long time. Like y'all done probably been at other functions together, or they done probably, y'all done probably posted pictures online together. What'd you say, Carl? They definitely know he's batting for the other team. I agree. Don't take it all personally. You simply got caught helping a friend. Now the true needs need to come out so you can be free of the madness. And that's it. And you're right, Dak. You're right about that. What's up, Denver Brigham? You're right about that, Dakari Kofi. Thank you for always tuning in and tapping in as well, my brother. You're absolutely right about that. The thing about it is, she doesn't owe them an explanation. So the first things first, she need to talk to Jay on the private side. So let's break down what, inspire him to speak his own truth. Because right now, she's respecting his terms to respect him to tell them on his own terms and have ownership over what's going on with him. But right now, it's getting a little messy. So you got to bring it to the table and tell, Jay, man, let me tell you a little something about your kinfolk. Your kinfolk is out here. They doing the most. They accusing me of being somebody who I'm not. And I don't want that to occur. I don't want that to happen. So you need to talk to Jay privately. Make sure he knows exactly what's been going on. Make sure he knows what's been said, how the things are escalating, because this gives him a chance to decide what he's ready to share. You have to give them the opportunity to decide on what he's ready to share. Because he may be like, oh, don't worry about them. That was just my cousin Nuck. They don't know nothing. But then, somebody gonna tell somebody gonna tell somebody gonna tell somebody. And then that telephone now is a whole nother situation. Somebody told, oh man, you should have seen J girl out. She out at a whole nother freak party. Like, they gonna make up their own thing. And then they're going to make up and say, well, she told us that she wasn't with Jay anyway. People will make up their own ending to a story if they don't have the whole truth. So make sure you and Jay are on the same page and understanding and knowing what has transpired. What's up, Pammy T? So that's my first thing. But before all of that, keep your response with them neutral. You could say something like, look, there seems to be some sort of misunderstanding or some sort of confusion, and it's not my place to speak for Jay. You can keep it, like, look, it's some sort of misunderstanding or confusion. It's not my place to speak for Jay, because they can think either y'all broke up and he ain't tell them, or they could think that what they thinking. And he just hasn't told them yet. But it also gives you an opportunity to stay clear of outing your friend. So remember that. Remember that. You can say something along the lines, it is not my place to speak for Jay. And go from there. Say, holla at your cousin. Holla at your kinfolk. Ask him what's going on. Ask him why I'm out here with another person. Ask your cousin. Don't come and asking me. Don't ask me for But mainly, okay, so talk to Jay. Let's start there. You need to talk to Jay. Keep your responses neutral, right? But stay calm. Calmness under pressure speaks volumes. Stay consistent. Because the more defensive and emotional that you get, the more fuel you add for the outrage. You know what I mean? The more emotional you get, the more fuel you add for the outrage. So stay measured. Show them that this quote unquote scandal isn't as explosive as they're making it out to be. Scandalous. Let them know. How many songs is that today already? 5, 6. I'm on a roll with my songs, So what do we say? What are we doing about this? What'd you say? Surprise! I got you, man. I got no need to apologize, Unc. I love you to the moon and back, baby. I got your back like a Tupac tat, Unc. Don't you trip. I'll call you later on today. But yeah, so what you doing in this situation, Miss Accidental Villain? First and foremost, you talking to Jay. First of all, you talking to him. Talk to your friend. Holla at your homie, man. Let him know, like, hey, homeboy, Your family then called me out here in these streets being a mess, and I need you to talk to them because I don't need them to be thinking I'm a floozy. I don't need them to be thinking I'm out here deceiving you. So if you just got to tell them we broke up and you didn't tell them yet, tell them what you need to tell them, Jay, is what you need to have this conversation with your best friend. You say he your brother. You say you love him like your brother. So now what you need to do is talk to him like your brother. Talk to him like your brother. You know what I mean? And sometimes siblings, we get realer than anybody else with each other. Siblings get real. We get down to it sometimes. There's no ifs, ands, buttons about it. No beating around the bush. No questions being asked. None of that. None of that. No second guessing. None of that. We just out here. When you're talking to your siblings, sometimes it is what it is. And they need to know exactly how you feel. Tell them. Say, look, I don't like the way this is making me feel. I don't like the way this is making me look. So I need you to do something about it. So talk to your best friend. Talk to your dog. Let him know. Say, hey, Jay, this ain't a good feeling, homie. This is not a good feeling. And I don't like it. And I'm pretty sure if he's your friend the way he's your friend and you his friend the way you've been his friend, that you'll come to some understanding and some sort of agreement. Y'all ain't nothing, I always say all the time, ain't nothing better than a good understanding. Nothing in this world is better than a good understanding. If you can get understanding with somebody to the point where, like, there's no questions asked, there's no second guessing, we finally got a decision on what we doing and how we doing it, then you gravy, you golden. Okay? But so stay calm in the moment. But after all of that, make sure that you are preparing boundaries. And who am I talking about these boundaries with? I'm talking about with his family. Prepare these boundaries. If they press you for details, it's okay to repeat to them the same thing I just told you. Look, there seems to be some sort of misunderstanding. Y'all holla at Jay. Talk to Jay. You know? Because the conversation Jay needs to have, he needs to know when to be ready to have this conversation, but they also need to know who to direct this heat at. Because it ain't you, whether or not you are complicit in this lie or not. You're not the one that the heat needs to come at. You were simply being a wing woman, helping your friend. You were being his beard, the beard to his whatever he has going on right now. You know, if you decided to be that person for him, then be that person for him. There's no need to out him or anything like that just because the heat done got underneath your feet. Somebody put a little gas on the fire, and now you want to know, like, so are we friends? We lovers? What are we telling these people? Do we tell them we broke up? Can I tell them that you gay? Like, it's so many things that's running through your mind right now. It's so many things running through your mind. So find the balance. But first and foremost, stay calm and consistent. Let them know, like, y'all got a misunderstanding. Y'all really not knowing what's going on. Y'all really not privy to the truth. You know? And like I said before, you're not a villain. You're more of a hero than anything else. Because villains are out to deceive. What you were out to do was to shield your friend. You tried to shield him from pain. You tried to shield him from stress and anxiety. You tried all of these things just to try to protect your friend. And what's wrong with that? Nothing. That's what friends are for. You know? And if that's what you're there to be, then continue to be that. The unfortunate part is that people who are deeply entrenched in the belief sometimes choose anger over compassion when the reality isn't what they thought it would be, when it doesn't match their expectations. When reality doesn't meet people's expectations, they most of the time choose anger over compassion. So like if I came into a spot and I really thought it was going to be one thing and it turned out to be something else, I'm more likely going to be upset at the fact instead of saying like, well, at least it's this, or maybe this is what I thought it was going to be. Like we just had an Airbnb that we just had this past weekend, right? And I chose compassion in this regard because the Airbnb, the pictures were just as it says, but they didn't tell you about the parking. They didn't tell you about the neighborhood, how crowded it is. They didn't tell you anything about that. So, but I chose compassion over anger because I'd already paid for it. So what's getting mad about it gonna do? And I had a garage to go along with it. So I had to think about the things that did work out in my favor. But then I still had room to say, like, hey, I didn't really like this certain part. So when I left my review, I left that part of it. I was like, this was a little, I didn't say I had a misunderstanding. I said this wasn't relayed in a way that I could understand it properly. They said because the neighborhood was very family-like. Yeah, you can say everybody in their family's family was living over there. So, again, when people don't have all the information, a lot of times they choose anger over compassion when the outcome isn't what they expected. That's all it really is, because people's beliefs lead them to things like this. That becomes a them issue, not a you issue. Okay, I want you to know that it's not you, it's not me, it's you. It's not me, it's you. So I shouldn't feel bad about how I'm moving in my world when you don't even have the privilege of understanding and knowing all that's going on in this situation. Let them know that. But again, you could always go back to that one phrase. Y'all need to talk to Jay. You got some sort of misunderstanding, and I don't think you have all the information. So that's something for him to discuss with y'all and not me. Like Dakari Kofi said, they probably know already. They probably know he's batting for the other team already. That was his phraseology, not mine. I just said, I'm just saying there's probably a lot of knowledge that they felt relieved that they didn't have to say, okay, I knew I was right. Like Luther Vandross, right? Like Luther. Everybody loved Luther, rest his soul. But then you had some, like some of the sanctified folks who just couldn't bring themselves to truly enjoy Luther's music because they thought something about Luther. But that didn't stop his music from being a chair. It's still a chair. That ain't stopping him from being having such a melodic sounding voice. No matter who he's singing to, he's singing with an A, singing. So just like Jay, he living. No matter what truth he's living, but if it starts to involve you, then you got to get Jay involved. Like, hey, my man, I need you to come clean with your folks, or at least get me out the hot water. Because that's basically all you're really looking for. You're looking for an out to get you out of the hot water. So let's go back. I said this is about friendship. I said it's about family. Because friendship, yeah, you best friends with Jay, but he's like family to you, and now he's involved his family in this whole little charade, right? It's about identity. How does Jay identify? How is it that you identify as his girlfriend and somebody else's girlfriend? That's what they're not understanding. It's about, that fine line between protecting somebody that you love and now you're getting caught in the crossfire for it. Dum, dum, dum. That's where we get into the issue. Caught in the crossfire. Because it took loyalty, it took courage, it took compassion for you to even say yes to his request. Because what you said in your letter, you said, my best friend Jay comes from a religious family. And he said he's also gay, something he hasn't shared with them out of the fear of rejection and heartbreak. He said when the family reunion came up last year, he begged me. You said he begged you to pretend to be his girlfriend so he wouldn't face uncomfortable conversations or worse. So if he begged you, that means he was really, really, really in need for you to help him get beyond whatever this angst his family was giving him. Like, people don't understand that the pressure that they give as family sometimes hurts people more than it helps people. What do you mean by that, 360? Sometimes everybody's opinion ain't needed. You know? And not everybody can brush it off or have the skin thick as an alligator to protect themselves. No, everybody can't do that, but everybody's opinion isn't needed. If I ask for your opinion, then by all means, give it up. But if you just offering it out of nowhere, mother made you, mother love you, mother cuff you. You know? Opinion ain't nothing but chewed up grass, which means it's bush. So opinions really don't matter, but if they have the compassion, they really want to know about Jay's life, they really want to, be supportive of him in any way, then it won't come with opinions. It'll come with, questions, yes, possibly, but it'll also come with some compassion. So again, don't take this as it being a you thing. Don't take this on your back as something that you have to carry with you. Yes, you are caught in the crossfire, and it's easier said than done getting yourself out this hot water because who knows what size town y'all live in? Who knows how close you are with the rest of his family members? Who knows what kind of turmoil this may have caused with you and your partner on that date? You didn't put that part in the letter. Did it call? I'm sure that you told your partner that you told his family that you is his girlfriend because that's your best friend. But then maybe again you didn't. And now your partner thinking that you cheating on them. See, so it gets complex when it comes off as a lie. But this, in this case, isn't a lie when you look at the overall picture. You're just protecting your friend's autonomy. And you signed up for a role in his play of life. You wasn't a tree in the background. You were actually a caricature in his life. So with that being said, play that role. Play it all the way out. But talk to Jay. Because right now, Jay's in the director's seat. Talk to Jay. Be like, hey, man, I don't know if people are believing what we got going on anymore because they saw me out with such and such. And, don't hit the panic button. Stay calm. Stay consistent. Because, again, it's not a lie. It's not about a lie. It's about letting someone live in their own moments of truth and you just being a wing person. The less we think every situation is all about us, the easier we're able to navigate through them. Does that make sense? Like, it's not, if we sit there and inject ourselves, like it's about me, how they're treating me, how they're coming down on me without thinking about like, dang, if they coming at me like this, I can only imagine the vitriol they would hit my best friend with if he told him his real truth. Wow. I see why Jay begged me to do this for him. Wow. I think if we take that approach in life, looking at it from the other side, from 6 instead of 12, from 9 instead of 3, look at it from both sides of the clock to see like, how would this feel if I was on that side of it? Empathy is something that all of us, only people that don't have it are serial killers. And I still think they still have some themselves because we all find a way to put ourselves in other people's shoes if we choose to. If we choose to. Okay? So back to what we were saying. So if Jay decides to come out to them, right? After, you've talked to him and after you've kept your responses neutral, if Jay decides within himself to come out to them, then that's perfect. Then that's his moment to own, right? And it'll be better for him. But until then, the best you can do is stand firm, protect his trust, and not let that quick guilt trip trick you into like carrying the responsibility that isn't yours. And what I mean by that is by outing somebody that isn't you and that's not ready to be outed. You're just caught between family, loyalty, and denial. And denial is more than a river in Africa. I want people to know that. It's longer than the river in Africa, but it's more than just a river in Africa. Denial is a really big thing. And that's probably what his family's doing. I can't say yay or nay, whether they know or not. But if he's to the point where he's asking you to be his pretend to be his partner, then they probably breathing down his neck. Grandmama probably asked him, baby, when you gonna bring me some great grandbabies in here? Somebody probably, if the Lord say it be, somebody praying for him. And they trying to pray out the gay or something along those lines. And, people do some weird stuff. People do some weird stuff when they are deeply invested in something that doesn't include them. Like your personal journey with God is your personal journey with God. Don't try to bring me on your journey because those aren't my steps. Those footsteps in the sand, those belong to him and you. Mine aren't in that path. So don't try to bring me on your same journey. Let me live mine, and they need to let Jay live his. And you can tell them politely as you want to. Yeah, they may be the church folks, but you can check church folks too. You can check church folks too. Find you some scripture to say, well, according to such and such and such and such, chapter blankety blank verse da-da-da-da, it's not good to gossip outside the presence of others. I don't know all the quotes of the Bible like that. Don't get me wrong, I'm prayed up, but I can't tell you which ones is which. But if you need some ammo, go back at them with the ammo they're coming at you with. But don't use this as an opportunity to out Jay. Use this as an opportunity to let Jay know, this might be the time. Okay? So accidental villain, breathe. Again, you're not the bad guy here. You handle it with grace. You protect your friend. And remember, sometimes doing the right thing doesn't look right to everybody. What's that you said, 360? I said sometimes doing the right thing doesn't look right to everybody. So hopefully y'all got something out of this. Anybody else out there that's hiding your truth in any capacity of the world, you know what I mean? If you scared to tell your truth to people, if the moment you start living in your truth, then you'll start walking in your path. Because if you hide and pretending to be something in somebody else, then you're not working towards who it is that the Creator has for you to be. All right? That's all I got today, homies. That's today's letter. If you've been in a similar situation, then, or you have some wisdom to share, feel free to tap in and for the after show, on the follow-up, the replay, and leave that information because I'm pretty sure that accidental victim is going to keep coming on here. Accidental villain is going to keep coming on here trying to figure out the best possible way for her to handle this situation. So, and to everyone listening, let's just keep showing up for each other. That's one thing I've been working on, trying to make sure I show up for people in ways that affirm love, in ways that affirm dignity, even when it's complicated. So let's try to keep showing up for each other. And until the next time, y'all keep taking care of yourselves and each other. Till I breathe in y'all direction again, I'm 360 the Poet. I'm going to holler at y'all in a minute.
Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. High 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot702.5fm.com.